Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan, and today I'm going to talk about Papaya. It's funny. This is one of those songs where initially, when I looked at the album and I thought, thinking about the videos I was going to do, and I thought, it's a great song. I really love it, but probably nothing to say about it. It's fun, it's light, it's playful, and it's about, making a salad. So, everybody already knows that, so there's probably nothing much to say. But then I made some sort of little intellectual discoveries. And, I think sometimes when I analyze songs, I'm so sort of laser focused on trying to sort of figure out what the song is about, what the overall meaning of the thing is, that I might lose a sense of the joy of the thing. So I'm going to try not to do that this time. And I don't think I will, because what I have to say uh, fits the tone of the song. And, you are, of course, free to say, it's just a light, fun, high energy, dancey kind of song. Totally agree. Totally agree. I actually do think there's a little bit more going on than that. The more I sort of wrestled with the lyric, the more I thought it's actually quite a complicated song. Not in ways that stops it being from fun and exciting and full of energy and all those kind of things. It absolutely still does that. But I think there's a little bit more to it than that. So see what you think. Hope you like it. Papaya. Oh my God. Let's just pause for a second and marvel at the brilliance of that introduction. No buggering around, no little sort of rinky dink slam right into it. There's that rhythm, there's that emphatic pounding sound. Pounding. I'm going to come back to that a number of times because it's relevant to the song. Content wise, it's not just the rhythm. Oh my God. I mean, talk about taking no prisoners and laying it out in the first seconds of the song. You know exactly what you're going to get. And brilliant. That the energy, the I've heard this a million times and I'm still sort of lost for words. It's so captivating. It's got that heartbeat, right? Right off the bat. That's what it is. Okay, gotta stop. I'm gonna break this up real small, otherwise I'm gonna get smashed for copyright. Saikyo de Saiko te Saino ka you know what. Zenshin do Zenrei de Honore o Kogase. Um, so, opening line, there's that you know what, the English part in there. But the first part, Saikyo de Saiko de Saino ka. Is it? I talked to my mother-in-law about this, and the best translation that we came up with between us, which I think is really sort of crucial for the song, is it a matter of talent that makes you strongest and best? Is it talent that makes you strongest and best? Question mark. Right? And then the next line, Zenshin do Zenrei do Honore o Kogase. Devote yourself to the limit. Burn yourself with your entire body and soul. So in response to the first question, right, is it a matter of talent that makes you strongest and best? The answer implicitly is no. The answer is it's work, dedication, devotion, burning yourself up with the effort of the thing, right? And I think this is really, really important for the song. And it's something that I don't see discussed a lot with this song, because everybody gets fascinated by the fact that it's a song about a salad, which it is. But it's also a song about work and how work trumps talent. Really interesting idea. Okay, a little more. Oh, and then before we get into the chorus part, bring it on, right? Bring it on, bring it on, bring it, bring it. And Sue, you hear it now. She's starting to do this really interesting thing with the initial consonant. That there's a kind of almost a sort of double articulation. So that with the bring, she's almost rolling her R's, which is very unusual in Japan, right? She's rolling the R so it sounds like a phone. And to me, immediately evokes Doki Doki Morning, right? She's making that sound, the bring it on, right? The invitation to the work, to the stuff we've got to do in order to become the best and the brightest, right? But I'm going to come back to this sort of double consonant thing, the way that she's using that, because I think partly it's about an interesting quirk of the rhythm of the articulation of the song, but I also think it's interestingly Thai, for reasons that's going to become apparent. Ah, it's so good. It's so good. Okay. Another crucial word, Matsurida, right? Meaning it's a festival. Now, cast your mind back to album number 1. What's the signature song off that album in terms of defining who Baby Metal are? It's Megitsune, right? It's the song that sort of takes all that Japanese folklore and folk cultural practice and says, this is who we are and this is what we're doing and this is how we're using it, and sort of transcending it at the same time. And, you know, and all the sort of the calls that you hear in that song. Those Chiki Chiki Washoi, right? The Hira Hira Washoi, those chants, right, that come from festivals, and the term that evolved out of that song particularly was that Baby Metal were doing Matsuri metal, right, festival metal. Matsuri meaning a very specifically Japanese kind of folk festival. You can see some of the gestures that we've seen in the Baby Metal song here in a traditional piece of dance from the Summer Bon Festival in Japan. And they're incorporating that, but they're also going to blend this with more traditional Thai elements. So we have a new Matsuri here. Though here the Matsuri is not as specifically Japanese, right? Because part of what this song is doing is expanding into other cultures. And we've already started to see where we're going in the dance, right? The sort of the gestural vocabulary that we're starting to see here in that sort of those lateral hand and arm movements pushing up. And this is very Thai, right? If you look at a lot of traditional Thai dance, you'll see that the body tends to be quite static, the head likewise. It's mostly about the knees and the arms particularly, and the hands. And one of the things that you see with the hand gestures in particular is this sort of hyperextension, not just a flat hand, but I can't even do it. I can't show you. A hand that tips so far back that the fingers arch backwards, and traditional Thai dancers start training at a very young age while the body is still very supple, because this hyperextension is particularly valued, and it sometimes gets emphasized with these sort of brass extended fingernails that they wear to sort of further highlight the sort of curvature of the hand outwards. And you can see that in the dance we're sort of gesturing towards that, and you're going to see it throughout the song, so that the physical language of the song is already starting to frame the Thai component of the song. So the Matsuri that we're seeing here is some sort of international version of where they were. So again, this is the Metal Galaxy version of the Matsuri, right? A more international flavored thing. So Matsurida, they change the sort of pattern of the pronunciation each time through. Crazy Summer, Da Dance, right? We get that sort of the repetition of that initial syllable, Da Dance. Sawage, 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 Yo Papa, Yo Boys, Odore, 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 Papa, Papa, Yo Girls. So Sawage is make some noise, be noisy. And Odore means dance, so dance and make some noise, right? Straight. But again, that repeated initial consonant, I think, is also a very Thai feature, right? If you listen to a lot of Thai language, you'll hear a lot of those sort of monosyllabic, double-barreled consonant sounds. So I think, part of it is just playing along with the music, but I also think that they're making a kind of subconscious connection to the rap section to come. And it's built into the way that the Japanese is working as well as the way the Thai is going to work. Now, I said that the choreography starts to contain some of those Thai elements in that sort of that movement from one side to the other side with the hands extended. You also notice that they start getting that sort of conventional rap star self-posturing, right? The sort of the hand over the mic and the other hand extended out to the audience, right? This is all, I think, part of the setup for what is coming. Okay, so the verse Saikyo da Saiko te chodo da you know what zettai to zetsume de onore otamese. So it's great to be the strongest and the best. So it's not a question now, right? And then the next line, test yourself, absolutely, or in desperation or in risking your life even, right? Push yourself as hard as you can despite the obstacles. So again, yes, it's great to be the best. It's great to be successful. But again, that's not going to happen magically just because of talent. If we go back to the first verse, it's about effort, about pushing yourself as hard and far as you can regardless of what is coming, right? And then again, bring it on, and we get the little phony bring it, bring it. The phones. Maybe this is my particular madness, but why does the phone sound interest me? The way that she says bring, and it sounds like a telephone. Doki Doki Morning was their first single. And I can't help wondering if there's a sort of a little echo of that here. But it's also about this is completely tangential. This is madness, but I don't know. Waiting for success to call. You know, as a writer, as an artist myself, you know that in the old days, failure came by mail, success comes by phone. Now failure comes by email, success still comes by phone. You know, when your agent calls, when your editor calls, when the record company calls, or whatever it is, it means somebody is excited to actually talk to you and to give you good news. So, am I overreading this little moment? Probably. But I like the idea. There's the bring it, the sort of willingness to face the challenge also connects to the possibility of success, which comes by phone. I never quote this, never refer to it. It's obviously madness. But anyway. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, again, Crazy Summer Boys, Spicy Summer Girls. It's got this wonderful summery kind of feel to it, right? People meeting down the pool, in this sort of fresh, exciting kind of atmosphere. And then we set up this, and this is where the song gets like really intense, and I think really, really cool. But any baby metal fan will know that this is where things, initially when the song first came out, this is where things went off the rails a little bit. So something has to be said about this. So, you know, this video came out right after, this is the official video, this came out right after the two shows where this song was recorded in performance for the first time at Yokohama in, I guess, 2018, right? And nobody had heard the song, but it got leaked a few days before the show, and there was a real baby metal fan backlash. People saying they hated it, they didn't like this guy, this was a terrible song, or the song was okay until the rap section starts and the rap section spoils it. And it was, you know, kind of brutal. And I think there's a lot of reasons for this. There was some anxiety that, you know, Yui had not been gone from the band very long, and there was some anxiety that this random guy was going to be the official replacement, which seems, in hindsight, just crazy. As if there's no way that was going to happen. But some people who were, you know, devotees of Yui particularly, or devotees of the kind of band that Baby Metal had been with Yui, were particularly hostile to the idea of them going into this other kind of direction. People didn't like his name because the F stands for fucking, as in hero. Though I have reason to believe that, you know, in Thai it feels a little different because of the sound. But there was the backlash was so strong that F Hero himself considered pulling out, right? And again, I'm sure a lot of you will know this. And he has been interviewed talking about this and talking about, and the word that he uses in the interview is hate speech, right? That people turned on him and targeted him and was saying how terrible his part of the song was and so on. So much so that he actually seriously considered, and I think he actually did reach out to Cobra Metal and the band and say that maybe he should not perform in the concert and they should cut the rap section out of the song and take his part out. And what's particularly painful about the way that he talked about it after the fact was that it played into what was clearly a surprising inadequacy is not the right term. A humility, an anxiety about his own worthiness to be working with Baby Metal, right? One of the things that he said is, he was a minor rapper. He wasn't even a major rapper in Thailand, and Thailand is not exactly, a sort of a global focus for music. If you're singing in Thai, your audience is Thai, right? There's virtually no crossover. There's no people in the US, unless they're Thai, I guess, listening to Thai music, right? So one of his concerns was that he was going to embarrass his country, which is a little bit heartbreaking, that he felt this sort of great generosity to Koba Metal, who had reached out to him and asked him to be a part of this, and he didn't even know who Koba was, initially, and was so pleased to do it. And then the backlash was so strong that he was ashamed and thought maybe he should drop out. So when it came to do the show itself, he was assured by his people and by Baby Metal's people that he was absolutely essential to the song, that they wanted him there, that they wanted him to be in it. And right before he went on, apparently Koba came up to him and said, "You are my pride," or words to that effect. He's proud of him. Which, this guy's a big guy, big, powerful sort of guy, and he has that, and he cultivates that kind of sort of gangstery vibe, which is associated with a lot of hip hop and rap music. But apparently he was really sort of freaked out and scared. And after he did his performance, he talks about immediately coming off stage. He's only on stage for like 2 minutes, and immediately coming off stage and running into the bathroom to throw up, because it was so sort of traumatic. And of course, up there in the lights, he couldn't see what was going on. It was just chaos. He didn't know if he was doing well or doing badly. If you've ever been on stage, the lights are in your eyes. It's very, very hard to get a sense of how the audience is responding. And there's so much stuff going on around him, that he just didn't know. And of course, when he came out, it was only later on that the Twitter traffic then was completely turned around, and everybody said how wonderful it was, and it's great, and the community, the fan base, changed their position. And I was listening to the Baby Metal podcast, which came out right around the time that stuff was happening, and as Paul said on that, it's kind of sad that we had to go through that stage to get to the good stuff. But it's actually kind of perfect, because it's what the song is about. In a weird kind of way, the supreme manifestation of what the song is talking about how talent is not enough, that you've got to go through all the crap, you've got to put yourself out there and suffer for your art in order to be successful, and and that is being illustrated in the actual moment in which the song was revealed to the world, where even then he was having to go through all this crap that fans were throwing at him, in order to get the kind of success and recognition that he ultimately deserved. And I think it's brilliant. Check it out. Just to sort of recap what I was saying before about the way that, this is not an opposition, right? In Distortion, I talked about the possibility of the growly voice being against that Sue was sort of responding to it, whether you think those two voices are coming from inside her or one's out external and one's internal is less of a point. It was a sort of call and response, somewhat antagonistic call and response. That's not what this is. This is now a separate section, but it goes perfectly hand in hand, and you see the way that his persona is being adopted, his persona as a rapper is being adopted by the girls who take up somewhat comically, but cool, the sort of conventional rap posture before he starts. Okay, I gotta stop. Because there's a lot here. And obviously, I don't speak Thai. So, in approaching this song, I reached out to a friend who lives in Bangkok, and she helped me with the working through the words and looking at some of the interviews that F Hero did and some of the other stuff. Unfortunately, she was not sufficiently comfortable with her English to appear on camera with me in here. But suffice to say that part of what I'm saying here, including the translation that I'm going to give you now of the rap section, is not from me. It's from her. The first line, I won't read the Thai because I'll butcher it. But the first line is rap like a professional, rock, right? Now you see what I'm saying about the repeated consonantal phrases, rap, rock, and this is, I think, really fitting to the Thai language, right? If you listen to a lot of Thai, you'll hear those short consonant monosyllables, right? A lot of Ks, a lot of Ps that have that sort of popping, clicking, tongue on the roof of the mouth clucking sounds, right? That creates a sort of natural punctuation, a sort of staccato, emphatic rhythm to the language that's built into the actual syllabic sound of it, right? So he's using that in the rap to give it that sort of extra sort of punch within the words themselves, right? But he's also saying that he's doing it like a professional, right? So this comes back to what we were saying at the beginning about how the song is in part also about, it's not just about making salad, which we haven't even really got to yet. It's about making art, and working with what you have in order to produce the product, right? And then he says it sort of depends on destiny, right? Again, it's not just about talent. It's about other factors. It's about work. It's about luck. And any artist will tell you this. You will always find actors, writers, singers who are incredibly talented and never get the breaks, right? And others who do really, really well and frankly are not that good. I'm sure we can all think of examples. So it depends on destiny, and he includes here the cock, the destiny, and then the cock is I'm told it's the sound of knocking on doors, which makes me. This is why I'm saying that the phone ringing, right? It's not just about making music; it's about making connections. So the knock is like the bring, right? Cock is sort of, again, it sounds like the con of the fox sound in Megitsune. I don't want to over connect these, but I do think that there's something interesting going on. Because life is like a chocolate box, because of course, right? Which has that sort of Forrest Gump element of, you never know what you're going to get. It's also a mixture, right? The chocolate box is a random bunch of stuff, but you don't know what is going to happen, right? So again, that's sort of when he's saying destiny, there's the randomness to the selection, and then so mix them like a papaya, pock. And pock is the sound of the pounding in the making of som tum, which is what the Thai people call the papaya salad, right? And a key to the making of the papaya salad is the pounding of different ingredients in a mortar and pestle. And the pock is supposed to be that, right? But it's like the box and the other repeated little short sounds in the course of the song. So all of the stuff, all these different ingredients are going into the papaya salad. Now, at some point, maybe I'll tell you a little about the papaya salad, but it's really interesting because it's about mixing totally different elements. Obviously, you've got the papaya and you've got sugar, a sort of palm sugar. you've got lime, so you've got the sort of fruit, the citrus, and then you've got tamarind, which is a sort of rich, spicy, very tangy kind of flavor, if you know what tamarind is like, used in some curries and such. It's got nuts, peanuts that are roasted and then ground into it as well, so it's got the sort of crunchiness. It's got raw garlic pounded in, and it's got hot pepper and some other veggies and stuff. So if you think about all those things, this is such a great Baby Metal idea, right? Because this is a series of ingredients that should not work together, but do, right? So the papaya salad, I think it does two things as a metaphor within the song. I mean, first, it's a taste of summer, right? So it's part of what goes with the song, and it's why it has that sort of high energy, fun, great. You know, I mean, Thailand, you can eat it all year round. In other places, no, it's a summer thing. But it's the difference of all the different component parts, right? All these different ingredients that probably you would think don't work together, being blended in this really interesting way that makes it a great analogy for artistic product and, of course, for what Baby Metal do generally in terms of mixing genres and bringing stuff in, and particularly what they're doing in this song. Not just mixing genres, mixing kawaii and metal and J-pop and various other things, but now we're also mixing this sort of Thai element as figured in the salad. The other thing, the other thing that's cool about the salad metaphor is that it's generated through violence. And my friend in Bangkok says that the pok pok is not just the sound of the mortar, it's what people actually say as they are pounding it, right? It's almost like a sort of little mini ritual that you pounding it. So it's about beating the ingredients up. And this comes back to what I was saying before about how the artistic product is not about talent. It's about getting the crap knocked out of you by the world. That's a necessary step on the road to success. And we've all heard the Baby Metal stories about them playing live initially and getting laughed at for what they were doing because people didn't know what to do with it because it was such an odd combination of stuff. We've just heard a similar story about F-Hero himself getting beaten up online for doing something like this, and it's because none of these things fit together. But it's also what makes for good art, right? That your process, you don't wake up and you're successful. You have to go through all this stuff, and it's part of what you pay your dues as you go, right? To earn that success, you've got to go through the ringer. But going through the ringer is also what exposes you to the sort of raw emotion that generates creativity. Yeah, if your life is really easy and simple, where's the fire going to come from in your art? So yeah, in that line he says, "Don, knock, 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 lom, 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 look, look, knock it down and then stand." So you sort of have to pound the salad and then let it marinate in its own sort of juices. Yeah. So, and again, great image of what the world does to you as you're sort of being mixed like a papaya salad. But the experience that comes out of that hardship is what makes it work. And clock, clock, quam, suk, pai, tuk, 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 tuk. So mix the happiness with the sadness, right? Now again, think about, so in real terms, what we're mixing is the bitter and the sweet, the salty, the spicy, but it's that the violence, that the idea that the words that he uses of mixing happiness and sadness, all these things are going into the ingredients of the salad to make that sort of final special mixture. And this keeps Mala Kodun tube. The papaya was hit, pounded. Sorry, as I say, I don't speak Thai, so forgive my pronunciation. But the papaya being hit is being pounded. And then it will be delicious and crispy. So good. It's so good. So then he's saying, sing Rad Tuk Tuk, young Thai rider, drive the tuk tuk like a Thai rider. Tuk tuk is the sort of little taxi like. Is it a three-wheeler? I can't remember. And they've probably changed since I was there. I've only been to Thailand once, 35 years ago or more. It was actually when I was living in Japan, and I went to Thailand at the end of the winter semester, or term. I spent Christmas Day on the back of an elephant in Chiang Mai. uh, but in Bangkok and major cities in Thailand, everybody got around on tuk-tuks, and you sort of hail them and you flag them down, and they have a reputation for being sort of crazy and fast and dangerous and so on. So he's saying, so again, he's injecting that very specific Thai self-referentiality, right? And this is traditional with a lot of rap songs, that a lot of rap songs is about yourself, about putting yourself out there, about making your way in the world and finding your way and battling hardships. Are very autobiographical, right? So he's doing the same thing here. So he's saying he's driving the tuk-tuk like a Thai rider, and hot and spicy because it's summer, and he's lightning before the thunder, which is a great image of the sort of the young Thai guy sort of racing through traffic and so on. Again, that sort of self-styling. Thai salad. Now here it is. Thai salad. Tum sum pladib. So what it translates as Thai salad and sashimi. We mix them together, and that's the song, right? So it's the Japanese and the Thai sort of put together in this improbable mixture, right? But this is our process. So the papaya salad, Thai salad, and sashimi. So great. Baby girl's Hanaka. The only explanation that I can find for Hanaka is that it's a common Japanese name, girl's name, from Hana flower, right? Ordered a bikini from Lazada, and we're doing this sort of word association, right? Which is common to a lot of rap. Lazada is an online shopping company like Amazon. It's based in Singapore, and it's the largest e-commerce retailer in Southeast Asia. Did I know this before I started making this video? No, I did not. This is why it's helpful to ask other people. So yes, so again, summer themes, girls getting their bikinis from Lazada. Jump in the pool, la la la. I love that line. Jump in the pool, la la la, because it's ooh la la la, which is very sort of exotic and sexy. But he sort of, as you drop the L of pool, la la la, you extend the word pool, so you take an extra ooh before you get to the L, and then it turns into pool, la la la. It's brilliant, lovely. Clever little line. Burn with us in the sunlight, let's papaya. So right, the burning. Now, at the beginning of the song, we talked about, exposing yourself, burning yourself in your desire to achieve being the best and the brightest. Now it fuses with the summertime metaphor of the sun itself, getting out into the sun and feeling the sun on you, burning, because that's part of the joy of being in the summer. Very un-Japanese sentiment, of course, because Japanese people, for the most part, avoid the sun, right? And I mean, this may have changed a little bit, but, people were very, very, certainly when I lived there, people were very cautious about getting sunburned. They didn't like being made dark by the sunlight, and would wear all kinds of heavy, clothes to keep the sun off them. And if you came back feeling very proud of yourself, coming back from Thailand, having been on the beach for 2 weeks or whatever, and people say, ooh, you did get a lot of sun, didn't you? And I'm like, I'm lovely and brown, because I'm from England, and that's our life's mission, if you're from Preston. Anyway, so yes, so, the idea of exposing yourself to the sunlight and getting that the intensity of that experience is more of a Thai sentiment than it is a Japanese sentiment. But again, we're fusing those two together to make something hybrid and cool. Ah, yeah. Yeah, what a great little breakdown that is, huh? You know, and it almost finishes like the song's ended, and then slam back into the chorus. I wanted to also mention that the rap section is divided into two parts. You tend to focus just on the voice, but in the second section, maybe I can go back a little bit. Right. Oh, I should also say, when he's talking about the chocolate box, it's impossible not to think, since I'm talking about all this sort of self-referentiality, you got to think about how Baby Metal's biggest song is Gimme Chocolate, right? So there's that, you know, when he first comes out, he was like, F-Hero, Baby Metal. And it's the two of them being put together, right? It's not, you know, very self-conscious, very meta in a sense. And so I think that these little passing references to previous Baby Metal experiences or songs or echoes of them, you know, I think that makes sense. Now, in the rap itself, we get to the midpoint. Okay, so hear that instrumentation in the background. Yeah. So now, by all accounts, this was something that F-Hero himself orchestrated in his initial meetings with Koba and co. And if we listen to this for a second, this is the instrumental riff as played on the native Thai instrument. A kind of harp. Yeah. So apparently, you know, this guy is an expert with traditional folk elements and with folk instruments. And when F-Hero was first approached, he said, you know, I want this to be a real Thai thing. And we want to do the rap in Thai, and we also want to incorporate certain sounds. So that's actually there, you know, and it's one of the things that he was particularly pleased with. You know, we talked before when I was talking about Shanti Shanti and other songs, you know, there's always this question about cultural appropriation, and are we, you know, simply taking stuff from other cultures and exploiting them? And I think it's a genuine, a legitimate question that we should ask. And some people dismiss it as an unimportant. It's not unimportant when it's your culture being exploited and you're not making anything out of it, right? But I think, you know, these kind of moments, the extent to which he was involved and that, you know, that benefited, and Thai music is being represented here in really interesting ways, is all the evidence that we need to say this is not an appropriative moment. This is this is a genuine homage to another culture's musical tradition being incorporated into something new and fresh and exciting and interesting. And I think it's really cool. And he talked about, you know, that right after this, when he went back home, and they went on to Glastonbury, and he said, you know, the idea of that little melody being played on electric guitars at the Glastonbury Rock Festival was kind of extraordinary to him, you know. And again, a point of national pride, which I think is really kind of neat. See that? See those hand gestures? That's what I was talking about before. In terms of the lyric, right? So I mean, we've heard all this pretty much before. So again, spicy summer sasong, crazy summer da dance. And you hear how it makes more sense now in the context of the rap, of all those little repeated phrases, those little monosyllables. So we're doing something. So they're borrowing from each other, you know, in a way to make something which feels harmonious, built out of these two radically different things. Orote, sawage, so dance, make noise. and we move towards the end. Can I just say, does it not look like they are absolutely having a blast? Right? I mean, when I do these sort of little analyses, it's very easy to lose the fun of the thing, both within the performers and within myself, because I'm trying to focus on meaning and trying to sort of deconstruct or explicate what I think is going on with the song. One of the great things about this, and one of the reasons I love this song and actually really enjoy making this particular video, is that you can't lose the enthusiasm and the excitement and the effervescence of the thing in the analysis of it, because the analysis, the content, fits the overall tenor of the thing so perfectly. And let's take a moment to show a little respect for the sheer fact of Sue and Moa having a blast on stage while, the F-Hero is about to go and throw up, And I'm not throwing shade at F-Hero, right? He this guy had a lot of experience, but the scale of a concert like this, it's not he described this as the scariest night of his life, So I think it's worth commending them for this rather extraordinary performance. There's something kind of extraordinary about that their stage presence, their professionalism. I mean, obviously they've been doing this for a long time at this point, but still, the ability to stand up in front of that crowd and belt it out and give it their all while there's flash bombs going off and there's fire and there's sparks and God knows what, and there's sound coming at them from every direction, there's light in their faces, and they are still either having an incredible time or simulating it, which is almost better, This is hard stuff, and this is the song, right? It's hard work. Nothing. I've said this before. Nothing is harder than making things look effortless. Right. So good. So good. So that's it. That's my little discussion of Papaya. I hope you like it, and as ever, like, comment, subscribe, and if you have questions, I said before, I'm going to do one of the sort of Ask Me Anything type videos. So if you have questions about anything that you'd like to hear me take a shot at, let me know. Otherwise, thank you, and I will see you again next time. Cheers.